Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about another of my inspirations. We're basing it on a photograph that's on my website, philippegarner.com, and it's this time it's a portrait of someone, a gentleman seated at a dining table. What is the significance of this picture for me? The gentleman is a certain Martin Buttersby. He was a very talented trompe-l'oeil artist, muralist, a collector, a writer, really a historian, I would say, designer, theatre sets and costumes, a multi-talented man. And I became aware of his activities in the mid-60s when he started to exhibit, he first in Brighton, then later in London, his collection of Art Nouveau. He was an instrumental figure in relaunching, reviving an interest in Art Nouveau in the 60s. That wonderful style from around 1900, characterized by fluid sensual lines and forms, whiplash curves, and essentially a return to nature as a principal source of inspiration. It's a style that actually fueled psychedelic art. It had a huge impact in the 60s, and certainly as a teenager I was fascinated by it and aware of Martin Buttersby's activities. In 1968 I bought his book The World of Art Nouveau, which was for me an absolutely fascinating read. It took me into that whole universe, not just the design dimension, but all the personalities involved. And key to the story I tell is that I lived in Brighton, and I knew that Martin lived in Brighton. I was still a student. I must have been aged 18 or 19 at the most when I cold called him out of the telephone directory at the tail end of the 60s. And he very kindly invited me for tea. I had told him of my interest in the decorative arts and design. He received me with great courtesy, great grace, and it was really just one of those moments that, if I dare put it quite so grandly, it changed my life. I was invited to his home in Brighton. I saw that he lived surrounded by all the treasures that fascinated him. He lived very much in a world of, he lived in the past, he lived in the world of his imagination. And he had turned his passions into his life. I remember leaving that visit greatly inspired and thinking, well, if he can do that, I can do that. I can turn all that interests me into my career and my life. So it was a great kick-start for me in the late 60s. Martin is photographed here at the time of a very influential exhibition at the Grosvenor Gallery in London, an exhibition on Art Nouveau to which he was the principal contributor. We'll pay particular attention to two works in this image. One, just to the left in the picture, is a sculpture of the dancer Loie Fuller, an American dancer who took Paris by storm in the late 1890s and 1900. Her unique performance, her unique way of doing things was to spin and twirl and with a play of diaphanous featherweight fabric, so she could one minute be a butterfly and then become a bird or a spiraling cyclone almost. All this in projected light, which really made her the living embodiment of Art Nouveau. Behind Martin is a painting by Belgian symbolist Jean Delville of Orpheus emerging or submerging in the gloom of the water. A haunting picture that ended up in the collection of a Belgian couple and is now in the National Museum in Brussels. So, as so often, every picture tells a story, and very often they have many stories to tell. but for me this is a picture that carries a lot of meaning, and it gives me great pleasure to talk about it and think of Martin, his achievement and the impact he had on my life. Thank you. I hope you'll tune in again for further insights into all those things that have inspired me. Thank you, and if you haven't already, do please visit philippegarner.com.